Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, I recorded this like 3 times and I didn't like how it came out. I felt like the review was just crap. And, my motto is I'd rather not put out anything than to just put out something that I think may be passable. Um, I'm gonna be honest, not really a lot happened in this episode. It was somewhat disappointing. There was a couple of good things that did happen, and I will sit there and talk about that. Also, I keep screwing up her name, but I will get her name right. I think her name is Paulina. Anyway, Lonnie, Abe, and Eli are talking about Paulina. And Abe is just like, so did you tell Paulina that she's not gonna be the godmother? And Lonnie was like, no, I left it to Eli's mother. And I'm sitting there thinking, so let me get this straight. You you really couldn't find the courage to sit there and explain to her, that you love her, but you don't want her to be the grandmother. But you had no problems that they're giving Eli all the smoke for arresting Kristen for actually stabbing a man in his heart. Like, what? I felt like that was so cowardly to do. I didn't like that. But yeah, she was just like, that's what she was gonna do. So on the other side of town, you got Valerie that had to give um, Paulina the bad news that, Eli and Lonnie want Julie to be the godmother. Now, Paulina said something that, well, she made a good point. She made a really good point as far as Julie's age. Why would you want somebody that older to be their godmother? And to be honest, she made a whole lot of sense. And this is something that people were even saying in the comment section. But, Valerie was like, yeah, that's what they want. Paulina is hurt at this point, and to some extent, I felt kind of bad for her. Both me and Abe was like, she kind of set herself up for this, but still, you know, Paulina comes across as a person that's very forceful, but she doesn't mean, she's not malice. She seems like the type of person that screws up or she'll say something out of line, but her heart is usually in the right place 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10. Um, and at one point, Paulina was like, she's not gonna want to go into the christening, but she does wind up going to the christening. Now there is one scene that is actually pretty funny. This is a scene between Claire, Doug, and Julie. As far as Julie being like, did you know that, as far as like touching a black woman's hair, like you're not supposed to do that. And both Doug and Claire was like, yeah, we knew that. And I'm sitting there thinking, how old is Julie at this point? Like, I don't know what to say about that scene. I really don't. But they all wound up going to the church or whatever to get ready for the christening. And Paulina comes and she apologizes for the way she was acting as far as assuming she was going to be the grandmother. And, Julie is just like, listen, it happens. It's, we're family. We're going to get into squabbles. So it's just what it is. So they did wind up making up. So yeah, there's that. Now, for the rest of this episode, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't super great. Yeah, Claire, that was being very mopey about, the whole everything that went down between her and Sierra at the hospital. Being her last memory of, the whole situation with Trip and Claire. So she's down about that. And they talk for a little bit. Well, they talk for a little bit. Claire and Theo talk for a little bit about that, and then Theo goes to see Sierra at the hospital. They talk about their childhood memories as far as when they were planning on running away. Claire And Theo was like, at some point you're gonna have to kind of forgive her, like it happened. But Theo does know that apparently they're not supposed to push Sierra as far as trying to get her to remember the present day and now. So he doesn't really kind of push too much about that. I don't know if they actually talk about Ben, but honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie, their conversation don't really go anywhere, except for the fact that he tells her that he's going to be the Godfather. Now, apparently, there's a time lapse because Sierra is remembering one thing about Lonnie, and Theo's like, yeah, they're gonna be a cute couple. They are already married, but he doesn't really get into it because of the whole, pushing too much. Um, Doug and Julie, come over there to see Sierra, but once again, they can't really sit there and push too much because Sierra talks about Ben being the necktie killer and how she was scared of him and everything like that. And Doug wants to. I guess I'm a boy because I keep screwing up his name. Doug does want to, tell Sierra that Ben is not gonna hurt you. Like he's not the necktie killer, but Julie is just like, yo, we can't really, we can't get into it. And, Sierra does sit there and ask, like, yo, what are y'all not telling me? But with that being said, they don't tell her, and then the conversation just kind of doesn't really go anywhere. Um, Ben and Jake, well, Ben is also kind of mopey. And listen, let me get some else straight. I say Ben is mopey about the whole Sierra thing as far as like, her not remembering him and how he's just going on and on and on. But I do understand. I get where he's coming from, you know? He was married to her for like less than what, a minute or two before a bomb went off and just blew up his whole life, blew their life apart, literally. And he was the only person that didn't give up hope as far as knowing that Sierra's alive. So I understand where he's coming from, especially the fact that he gets her back and now she doesn't remember him. Like, I get it. But, like, after about 5 minutes or 20 minutes, I don't know how long it was, I was kind of over the whole mopey thing. Jake brings up some sort of drug that they're going to use on him to get him to remember a life that he didn't really have. Um, and he tells Ben to use the drug to get their life back together, like fight for her. And, Ben is hesitant at first, like, I don't know if that's a good idea, let alone going to go and see her. But towards the end of the episode, he does wind up to go and see her. I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, this is this is so gonna go left, but sure. So you know that this woman does not want to see you. You know that Kayla was like, yo, we gotta give this some time. Like, this is a process. We can't just, snap her out of it. Like, don't go and see her, don't push her, whatever. You listen to Jake, one conversation, and you're practically over there with what, a syringe? I'm assuming that he got from Jake at some point. So you're gonna go there, knowing that this woman is terrified of you, and you're just gonna be like, let me just take this syringe that you don't know what's in it, and jog your memory. What do you say? Yeah, that's gonna go over well, especially when she's sitting there saying that, if you come any closer, I'm gonna yell and scream. And Ben is like, do it. Yeah. Okay, that's that's gonna go over well. I feel like that was about it, more or less. Besides the fact that Lonnie, didn't have the courage to tell Paulina, you know, like she wasn't gonna be the godmother, like she sent somebody else in to do her dirty work, pretty much. There was a scene that I feel like she has a blind spot towards Paulina. Like even when Abe was sitting there telling the story about how, Paulina wanted him to set up a meeting with the landlord for the Gabby Chic store, citing that there wasn't a lot of black businesses. in the town square, which even Eli agreed, like, it wasn't, but it was the way that she was just very pushy and forceful. And, Lonnie didn't really say too much about that. She was just practically like, well, that's just Paulina, she just, when she wants something, she gets away. And I'm like, she literally was bullying your dad, and you just sit there and say, well, that's just part of her charm, pretty much. Okay, sure, whatever, I guess that makes sense. Um, Yeah, but besides that, not really a lot happened. It was kind of a okay episode. Like a couple of things, like I said, the whole Doug and Claire and Julie scene was funny. But besides that, nothing really happened. Nothing that was too exciting really happened that I could sit there and say. So, if I missed anything, please let me know in the comment section below. With that being said, I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. I will catch you in the next video.